Hello everyone, welcome back. I want to give you guys my initial impressions on the Smith & Wesson Bodyguard. This is a 380 pistol. Um, and the situation is that, coronavirus, panic buying. A guy and his wife went to the gun store this past week, and they said, we need guns now because the world's coming to an end. And, basically the gun store sold them whatever was convenient for them. And the guy wanted a shotgun, so they sold him a Rock Island VR BP 100, which is a bullpup shotgun, which I thought was a horrible choice for, especially for home defense. I did a separate video on that, and they sold his wife the Smith & Wesson Bodyguard in 380. Now I'm going to tell you guys. I'm going to skip right ahead. I'm going to tell you guys after having shot that gun, I really liked the gun. Okay. But it was not a good gun for the guy's wife because she, it's a double action only gun, and she had a really hard time squeezing that trigger and keeping her sights on target. Okay, so I don't have the gun here because it's at their house. I trained them at their house. So when she was squeezing the trigger, I could see that she was doing this and that because she was having such a hard time squeezing that trigger. All her energy was going into squeezing the trigger rather than concentrating on her sights and keeping them on the target. And I shot her gun, and even with this gun, after I shoot 20 or 30 rounds, I feel my finger cramping up a little bit. So this trigger was way too hard for this woman to shoot. So I feel the gun store sold her a good gun. But they didn't sell her the right gun for her. And I know the gun store that sold the gun to her. She told me where she bought it. Normally, they allow people to, hold the gun, squeeze the trigger. They usually do give them better guidance, but because they had a line out the door, they just wanted to get people, rung up, background check and out of the store. They wanted to get the money in the register, get the people out of the store. Because of this big rush, I feel that she really didn't get the right gun for her. She had a real hard time, and I had her shooting at about 5 yards, a man-sized target at about 5 yards, and she was going like 2 feet left, 2 feet right, 2 feet low, usually, like I gave her a Glock 17 to shoot, she was getting like groupings like that. Okay, so it was definitely an issue of the trigger being too hard for her. I really like, now this is my Ruger LCP. The trigger on the Ruger LCP and the Smith & Wesson Bodyguard is almost exactly the same. Like when I squeeze this trigger, I got that long, I'll do it this way so you guys can see it. I got that long pull. Okay, so long pull. You got to really press it all the way back in order for this gun to, in order for that hammer to drop. Okay, so it's got a really long pull. And yeah, when she was pulling that trigger, you could see the gun just moving around as she was pulling it. Now, one of the size between these two guns is about the same. With this one over here, when I rack the slide, I can see the hammer in the back, right? It's got basically a cutoff hammer, an internal hammer that I can see. The hammer is set to a half cock position, okay? And then that long pull, this way, that long pull basically completes the cocking action and lets it go forward. With the Smith & Wesson Bodyguard, basically you can just keep going, because with this gun, if I want to dry fire it, every time I want to fire it, I have to run the slide in order to reset the hammer. With the Bodyguard, you could just keep pulling the trigger because it's a true double action only pistol. Okay, so I do like that feature of that gun because it allows you to do dry fire practice. The other thing that I really liked about the Smith & Wesson Bodyguard is the sights. Okay, the sights on my Ruger LCP are really low. Okay, as I'm holding it here, you can see how those things are really. I actually put some white paint there. Okay, in the daytime I can see them fine. Okay, at dusk or at night, if it's getting a little bit dark, in low light conditions, all right, let's say low light conditions, I have a really hard time seeing the sights. The sights on the Bodyguard are better. Okay, I'm definitely able to see those sights better. Daytime, low light conditions, under all conditions, I can see them better than I can see these sights. So I like the sights on the Bodyguard better. The difference is that this is a $200 gun, okay, and that's a $350 gun. So that's the only thing that's kind of not making me run out and buy it. If the price on the Bodyguard comes down to about $200, yeah, you know what? I'll go and buy that one. In the meantime, I'm not in a rush to go buy it because there's other guns that I have a list of guns I want to buy that I've kind of given more priority to. So that one, the Bodyguard, is kind of like at the bottom of that list. So that's not going to move up unless the price drops considerably, down to below $200. And I think I've seen these Ruger LCPs even below $200. I think I've seen them as low as like $160, $180. And it is a very good gun. The LCP, one of the things I've noticed is sometimes it does not like hollow points. Sometimes with the hollow points, they will stick on the way in, which case you just got to give the gun a tap in the back to put it in. Not all the time, but occasionally I've noticed it. I ran some hollow points through the Smith & Wesson Bodyguard. I didn't see them getting hung up at all on the way in, so it seemed to be eating the hollow points a little bit better. In my opinion, is on a 380, I think hollow points are kind of a waste of money because I don't think that the bullet is going fast enough to really expand it that much. So I personally, normally when I carry it, I just carry it with just full metal jacket. That's what I carry. And even though I have 380 hollow points, because I've seen that sometimes they'll get hung up as they feed. That's why I don't bother with putting hollow points into this Ruger LCP. I just carry it with full metal jacket. But I did test, like I said, I tested out the hollow points with the Smith & Wesson Bodyguard, and I didn't see anything getting hung up. I did see, the gun did get hung up at one point, and that was because the lady, instead of just slingshotting it, she rode the slide down. Okay, so the gun didn't go into battery. So I told her that she's got to slingshot it rather than just ride it down slowly. So that's one of the things I had to work through with her. But overall opinion, initial impressions on after shooting the Smith & Wesson Bodyguard for the first time, I really like the gun. If it were a little cheaper, like if it was $200, I'd run out and buy it. At the $350 that I see them selling it, I'm not in that much of a rush to go out and buy it. I'm okay with this one for now. If you guys have any comments, questions, please put them in the comment section. If you're not a member of the channel, subscribe. I'll talk to you guys next time.